Welcome to this regular Board of Directors meeting for Monday, October 21st, 2024. This meeting of Tampa Bay Water's Board of Directors was noticed in the Florida Administrative Register and on the Tampa Bay Water website. The meeting is available for viewing through live streaming, and a recording of the meeting will be posted on the agency's website. Vice Chair Lizette Hanowitz will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cohen?
Here.
Councilmember Hanowitz?
Here.
Mayor Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Eggers?
Here.
Commissioner Mariano? Councilman Miranda?
Here.
Commissioner Oakley?
Here.
Commissioner Scott?
Here.
Commissioner Woostel?
Here.
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Sir, I'd like to ask the board to allow D1 and D2 to be deferred till the November board meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion, please?
Miranda.
Councilmember Miranda, I believe.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay, please record your vote.
Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Thank you very much. We will now take public comment. We have two individuals that are signed up for public comment. You each have 3 minutes. Our first speaker will be David Ballard Geddes Jr., and our second speaker will be Mark Clutho. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, sir. Thank you. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live at Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. Published in 1972, Maloney's Water Code serves as the foundation for the Resource Act of 1972, which in turn bases Chapter 373 of the Florida State Statutes in the establishment of water districts. The promulgation of law regarding water assails itself from this book of constituted piracy as based on the 14th Amendment. Chapter 6 of Maloney's Water Code, over 65 pages of this book is entirely devoted to weather modification operations. Based on Chapter 6 of Maloney's Water Code, weather modifications, or commonly known as cloud seeding, began as early as 1916 with Charles Hatfield in California, using everything from carbonic acid gas to silver iodide crystals in the early 1950s in the seeding of clouds. This technology, placed in the hands of those who are sinister in nature, can be devastating. So I ask, is weather modification being used to create warfare? Warfare using weather modification, cloud seeding. The Declaration of Independence states clearly to ravage the coasts and to burn down the town. After last week, the west coast of Florida looks like a war zone out of the result of such crossfire hurricanes. I heard that the National Guard has also been called up and they currently have their boots on the ground. Is the modified hurricane that we just had phase 1 of a war tactic, and using the unsanitary conditions resulting from the hurricanes to plausiate a reoccurrence of a pandemic or a disease from our current unsanitary situation out on the streets? Now, does the government intend on hitting us with phase 2, hitting us with a real pandemic and spray chemical and biological airborne pathogens through our sprinkler systems and blame it on a malfunction at the sewer processing plant. Warfare is frequently done in small, widespread increments, plausiating deniability and lack of accountability. That capacity to plausiate and deny the lack of accountability has just been removed from the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mark Clutho, and we do have a third speaker, and that is Michelle Miller. So she will go after Mr. Clutho. Good morning.
Mark Clutho, Largo. How about that 14th Amendment? Oh, your regional water supplies, member demands, and environmental conditions. Oh, what you do to the environment. Yeah, here's the graph. Abnormal warmth in the Gulf of Mexico. What that does to the hurricanes. Yes, indeedy. And, goes along with the graph showing the spike in global temperatures. Yeah. And the hurricanes amplify crises of insuring risky areas. Imagine that. And then here's this article, Climate Change Upending the Florida Dream. Well, here shows this neat picture, shows these people ready for the hurricanes. They have their windows taped. Aha. Yeah. And then here's the article, Why Monster Hurricanes Like Milton Are Happening in the Gulf. It's not geoengineering. Oh, yeah, it is. You dumb idiots in your coats and ties. Means you're buying more air conditioning, driving big Jeep Wagoneers, and all you driving trucks. That is geoengineering. Belching the carbon into the atmosphere. That's why we have those graphs reading the way they do. It's called correlation. Yeah, and then this headline reads, much of Amazon burns with dire implications, yes. You don't think it's going to affect you here? I'm sorry. It will. Most definitely. Most definitely. And riding up 19, what did I see? All of these trees that were planted underneath the power lines, shaped like Ys. Geoengineering. Plain stupidity. Yeah. And what's going to happen?
Michelle Miller. Good morning.
Good morning. My name's Michelle Miles. I live at 412 Vinekeeper in Hillsborough County, Stevens Manor subdivision, and abut a non-compliant vehicle recycling facility that continues to operate despite illicit discharge. potentially being as devastating as Hurricane Helene and Milton. Mother Nature does not discriminate, nor does illicit discharge. Some things are beyond our control, like storm surge, but ignoring or allowing companies that have been non-conforming to continue because it's been happening for over a decade undetected should not occur. July 15th, 7 neighbors came to this board to share and ask for guidance how to protect our potable resources, as well as Tampa Bay water region's water quality. Pemberton Creek Baker Canal watershed is to the east of the Tampa Bypass Canal and is a 13 miles long man-made canal system with a pipe network and small man-made ditches to alleviate flooding as well as provide water sources. That's where we live. Never would I have imagined our area in an ex-flood zone would have been flooding hours after Hurricane Milton passed, continuing to rise for the next day and a half, flooding several roads, dozens of homes along Chastain and Vinewood. Could the elevations change that this automotive recycling facility storing wrecked vehicles on agricultural protected 100-year flood zone have had something to do with it? I don't know. Could it have just been the storm? How long do you think will it take for PFAS from a vehicle salvage yard to affect our wells and travel downstream to the Tampa Bay region's water supply? I want to thank Commissioner Edgars and Commissioner Cohen for the time that we had July 15th and for also understanding our community's need of the Tampa Bay Water Board support and suggesting a resolution on our behalf. If the board approves a resolution of support, please consider thanking also the Hillsborough City County Planning Commission staff's diligence researching facts to make their recommendation to the Planning Commission's Board of County Commissioners for a final action. I provided that to you, and that was just the cover sheet. The code enforcement staff has been citing this property for it'll be a year come next month, and continues to still visit this business, and they are still in non-compliance. As of September 12th, 2024, the owner continues to use the property and is receiving a daily fine of $350 until he ceases to stop recycling and storing vehicles on agricultural property. April 8th, the proposed site's cover sheet appeared to only be affecting 4.83 acres of residential land. Actually, the total proposed light industrial plan change was for 9.72 acres. After closely,
Miles,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, your time is up, but
I didn't know that. I apologize.
we will we'll follow up with you because you and some of us have met with you before, and we'll follow up with you related to this issue.
Whatever.
And
you
I
guys can
apologize for
do.
mispronouncing your name at the beginning.
Oh, that's okay. And,
I didn't-
and
I
I'm
couldn't
sorry,
read it.
I did not realize that I went over. Thank you very
you.
much for all your considerations.
All right, we are going to move on now to the consent agenda. Assuming there are no items that are being pulled for discussion, can we please have a motion for approval? Okay, I believe we have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second. Oh, there we go. Please record your vote.
Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on now to the general manager's report. And Chuck Carden, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. It's very good to see all of us together. My report today is included in your agenda package and provides an update of the agency projects and programs. But my presentation, I have a slide deck. I'd like to focus on the two storm events, Hurricane Helene and Milton, and provide an update to the board on how the regional system did before, during, and after the storms. In addition, on the heels of both storms, I want to provide a quick update on the Tampa Bay seawater desalination plant rack replacement and the startup activities. Tampa Bay Water has a comprehensive emergency management plan that we follow starting about 72 hours before a potential storm. And there's a variety of things that we do to ensure that the system is prepared to continuously deliver drinking water to the members throughout the storm event. One of them including filling the generators, and we test them. We also shut down our construction sites and secure all materials. And we also try to get all the essential chemicals delivered before the storm hits, and we closely coordinate with our member government utility staffs. We also preemptively switched the surface water treatment plant to generator power, and we lower the production to about 60 million gallons a day throughout the storms, because this is a reliable amount to be produced while we're on the generators. At the regional reservoir, we typically begin to lower the levels in the days leading up to the storm. And we feed the surface water treatment plant with reservoir water because that water is fed by gravity, and we're not having to rely on commercial power or generator power. And lastly, the desalination facility is in Zone A, and we typically secure the site and we close it during storm events. In both storms, I activated the incident command and storm response teams, and we actively monitor each of the member government emergency operations centers, and we share important messages from them through our social media channels. The agency and the regional system performed well during Hurricane Helene. Tampa Bay water staff followed the emergency plan, and we were able to keep all the major water supply facilities online throughout the storm. The main issue for this storm was power outages, and staff worked with the electric suppliers to prioritize our critical facilities. In addition, critical well fields and the surface water treatment plant switched to generator power, as I mentioned earlier, to ensure the continued delivery of the water. Overall, the regional system fared well through Hurricane Helene. But following quickly, as you know, on the heels of the Hurricane Helene, the agency went back into emergency status to plan for and respond to Hurricane Milton. The most significant issue, again, was losing power at several of our facilities through critical facilities, though our critical facilities were kept on generator power and minimized disruptions. But even so, with the generators, we still experienced some generator and power challenges throughout the night of the storm. But we were able to collaborate with the utility staffs to ensure that the regional water was delivered. And I want to compliment all of the operators and the utility staffs for responding so quickly and communicating so well with us throughout the night of the hurricane. In addition to the power outages, we experienced a lot of trees falling in and around the facility, which posed challenges in the recovery efforts. Many of our wells and well houses are in very remote areas, and it was difficult to get to some of them. We had all of the major facilities up and running within a day after the storm landed, and we were able to provide our member governments with everything they needed and adequate flow rates. We were able to increase rates to Pinellas County once the Keller Water Treatment Plant and the Eldridge Wild Well Fields regained commercial power. And as of today, the system is running as normal. All facilities are back on commercial power, and we are again filling the reservoir. I'd now like to provide an update of the seawater desal plant and its status. And as I mentioned earlier, the desal plant is located in Zone A in Hillsborough County. And typically, during a major storm event, the plant is shut down, we turn the power off, and the site is closed until after the storm, when the plant and the site can be assessed. That held true for both of the hurricanes Helene and Milton. In both cases, Zone A was evacuated and the plant was shut down, the site was cleaned up, and the construction materials were secured. After Helene, we were able to reopen the site and resume construction and startup activities. 2 of the first 3 reverse osmosis racks were completed at that time, and we started up the activities to start delivering water to the system. But as you know, Mother Nature had other ideas, and we again had to shut down the plant and button up for Hurricane Milton. Following Milton, we were able to assess the plant, and for the most part, we did not sustain major damage to any of the membranes and the equipment. However, the Big Bend power plant that we need for the water to be sent to us is powered down during the storm and is not yet fully operational. TECO is currently unable to provide the water we need to begin our startup activities. So the startup of the newly replaced membrane racks is likely delayed for several weeks. We're looking into an early start date that may be October 28th if things get moving this week, but it could take up to mid-November to start producing water and startup activities at that time. Also, I did want to mention that it appears that the roof on the desal facility where the racks are housed did have some minor damage. I hope it's minor damage. I don't want to say that they're assessing it tomorrow, but it appears that on one side it lifted up. It did not come off the building, but it did lift up, and we are having an assessment of the roof tomorrow. In the meantime, our partners, U.S. Water and Athiona, they continue to work on the reverse osmosis rack replacement, and we're really close to startup. And despite all of the initial startup delays, the overall project, which is the all 5 racks, are scheduled, and they're still on schedule to be up and running by the end of this year. The good news is that we have plenty of surface water and our reservoir is full. So the delay in the startup will not have a negative impact on our system or our permits. Finally, throughout both storms, we were in continual communication with your EOCs and your utility staffs. Due to the power outages, we issued an alert to the news media and your public information officers Wednesday night around 11 p.m. And we asked for the community's help in conserving water. The news media picked it up quickly, and they shared the information in their live broadcast and online. Your communication teams also shared the information on their social media and their news media briefings. Again, it was just another example of great collaboration between our members and also the community. Following these events, we will be putting together a damage assessment report focused on our facilities, the damage they incurred during both storms, and any improvements that can be made prior to the next storm season. In addition, we will be holding a lessons learned meeting to discuss what went well and where we can improve in our agency storm prep. That is my update on the storm events, but I'd also like to take a moment and thank Tampa Bay Water staff and also the member government staff on how hard they've been working over these past few weeks to continue to deliver water. I'd also like to recognize the efforts to communicate and coordinate throughout a very trying time for this region. I'm very proud to say that we did not fail to provide the water to our member governments during either storm event. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. And Chuck, before we go to comments, I think that I can speak on all of our behalf in saying that we really are grateful to you and all of the staffs, not just of Tampa Bay Water, but of the utilities departments, just like you said, because people really, really worked hard during this last month. It has been an exhausting and very, very trying time. But, you know, our top priority as independent governments and here at Tampa Bay Water is to keep the public safe. And, you know, that is what everyone worked toward through this entire event. And whatever we have to do to recover from it, it's very important to keep in mind that in that principal objective, we were successful. And that's very, very important. So with that, Commissioner Oakley.
Yes, sir. I'd like to echo those same words that Chuck and the staff that here that kept things working for our counties and the water flowing during this, I guess it was 3 events of rainfall. And I'll give you an example of that. Debbie came along in Pasco County and gave us about 10 inches or so of rain, and Zephyr Hills flooded. 3 weeks later in a meeting, they said, well, we're glad we're over that, and I reported we're still flooded in Zephyr Hills. Helene came along and gave us 15 foot of surge onto the west coast and destroyed a lot of homes, and a lot of people are displaced from their homes. And we got quite a bit of rain in that surge at that time. During Helene, Zephyr Hills only got 2 inches of rain, which was good because it was already flooded. Here comes Milton. The fact of it is we got a good coverage of 18 to 20 inches of rain all the way across the county, including Zephyr Hills. We're flooded there, and Withlacoochee River, I believe, according to everybody, it's crested 3 times, I think. I don't think they can crest that way, but it's still coming in toward Dade City, and we still have flooding and people getting flooded out of their homes. East Pasco County, as well as we had people on Anclote and the other rivers on the west side are being flooded at the same time. So we have a lot of issues and a lot of citizens that are displaced out of their homes. Some homes will never be built back because the folks there just won't have the funds to be able to build $1 million homes back on that coast and do it to the new regulations. But I really commend Chuck and all of our staff and our county staffs at the same time, because they were all working 24/7. I know for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we have nonstop in Pasco County, but thank you for all you do here at Tampa Bay Water.
Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah. First of all, thank you both for your comments, and I'm sure they are felt by all of the board members here. It really kind of puts things in perspective about when we talk about what government's all about. It's really about public safety, first and foremost, and infrastructure preservation. And I include utilities in that as well. When we have plants, waste plants that have to be shut down, or water that's not up to pressures, and it really puts things in perspective about what's really important. So I just, again, encourage public officials to remember that infrastructure and public safety are safety one, public, infrastructure two. It's an amazing time, and I've commented frequently about the staff in Pinellas County, but I'm sure it's the same in staff in Hillsborough County and staff in Pasco County, and all of you who work here at Tampa Bay Water, and many of you who don't but have your own stories to tell, and businesses and homes that were affected. It's been extremely trying time, and it's hurt a lot of people to their core, and it's really up to us to try to provide the right kind of changes as we go forward. I think lessons learned are one thing, but I think this kind of rattled all of our trees, all of our infrastructure, all of our government knowledge, to the point where we really have to rethink a lot of the things that we do and how we do them. Amazing that back in 1st of July, we were really, I think we were at, I don't remember, 2 billion gallons of water in our reservoir, and we were panic stricken, or at least I was. And as the month went on and the next month went on, and everybody kept saying it's coming, and we came, and then when you started using the water to kind of reduce the level so we could capture the rain that was anticipated. Amazing month. And the stories that each of our counties can tell and our cities can tell are just, beyond measure. But I really wanted to take the opportunity to thank staff here, because everybody takes on new jobs. Everybody takes on 24/7. You're either here on job or you're here sleeping, or I don't mean here, but out in our fields and out in the hinterlands. Really appreciate those works. As it relates to Pinellas County, we needed more pressure. I think there's some issues with Keller and Eldridge that we'll work on so that we can try to minimize those those issues. We did our best. We got them up and running, and then the pressures that we needed in Pinellas County. Of course, we had some pipes that broke in Pinellas County and couldn't find the leaks for a while. So it wasn't just about Tampa Bay water issue. It was about us couldn't find the problems. Beneath all of the sand that we had from Helene, it was just unbelievable out on the islands. But, again, I could just go on and on, but I just, again, wanted to say thank you to our folks and to all of you who make Tampa Bay Water part of your business. Thank you, Chuck, and to your team.
Mayor Davis?
Yeah, I just ditto down from the other end there, but I just wanted to add one comment. I had already told Chuck during our Zoom briefing, but I just really appreciated his taking the time to keep us informed as a board on what was going on. So we kind of had a picture of everybody and everything that's going on. So thank you. I wanted to say that publicly.
Okay. Commissioner Wastholm?
Thank you. Mr. Cardin, can you confirm, did we have any injuries of any staff during the storm event while they were performing their duties?
No, sir. I do not know of any.
That should be celebrated then. Thank you.
Ms. Hanowitz?
Thank you. Well, like every board member here, we're so thankful for Chuck and staff and everyone that worked so hard on this storm. I will tell you, communication is key, especially during a storm. And people in our communities were already under stress, trying to protect their family and trying to find out what was happening, what was going to happen. And in our community, we had a boil water notice. We had lots of breaks in our system. And I know that Tampa Bay Water worked very hard with our staff and continued communication to help them through that. We had to put our sewage plants, went down, and they had to turn them off to protect them. And so you have a, whole city, a huge part of our city without a sewage plant working, boil water notice, flooding in their homes, damage everywhere. It's just chaos. And it wasn't just us. I mean, you can look at North Carolina. And I'm sharing this because going back to what has been said in terms of the importance of infrastructure and public safety and having a plan and making sure that we're doing the right things, I know that we are going to be working towards that. It's good to hear, Chuck, that you are going to be having the lessons learned meeting, and we are doing a damage assessment report, and we are going to be planning for the future to be better prepared. I went through Hurricane Andrew in Miami, and guess what happened after Hurricane Andrew? We had better building standards, and we did recover from that. And there's always going to be lessons learned with every storm. And so I am confident that we're doing that. And I am so confident with the staff that we have here in Tampa Bay Water. And thank you so much for what you've done with us. Thank you.
Councilman Miranda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's been said before by all the others, but this is just more than Tampa Bay Water. This is an area of 3 counties, 9 members here, and the government working together. I mean, if that storm would have come 15 miles the other way, the question you got to ask yourself, will we be here today? We were unfortunate, had a lot of flooding in the city of Tampa, places that were never flooded before flooded. But on the other hand, we never had the amount of rain we've had. I don't know what caused it, what didn't cause it. I'm not a projector of understanding what happened until it happened because we had never experienced it. So working together with Tampa Bay Water and the other governments together, it's a unit of 3 counties of an enormous population and different people, different culture, different opportunities, different races, different nationalities, but they're all working together. When a crisis happens, you just go out and do what you have to do to make it better. And I'm sure that we will recover. Certainly what the commissioner from Pinellas County said earlier, we were worried about the water not being filled in the reservoir. Then after a while, what the hell do we do with all this water now? So it is what it is, and we live in an area that's beautiful, but it's also flat. And we're right close to the Gulf. I've never seen 6 storms come out of the Gulf of Mexico. I think there's been 6, I'm not sure. But the most I've ever heard of was 2. And now they're getting stronger and more devastating. And we're more likely to be changing our codes and how you build things, not only in our city, but in the whole area. You have to adapt to what's coming. And I call it climate change deluxe because we've never experienced it before. That tells us that we have to take care of the environment first. and yourself second. So thank you all very much for doing what you did to all the citizens in the three-county area.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo all the comments that have already been made here. And the fact that we got 2 hurricanes within 13 days is absolutely unprecedented. I mean, I've lived here 42 years, and I don't ever remember anything like that. If you think about it, we had 3 between Debbie, Helene, and Milton, and every one of those storms affected every county and every municipality that Tampa Bay Water serves. So this was really, I don't call it the perfect storm, whatever you want to call it this year, but it's been absolutely unprecedented. So the fact that Tampa Bay Water was able to maintain its commitments and continue supply is just a testament to all of the hard work from the staff and everything that's been done by board members long before us. So just want to recognize all the good work that's been done prior to us, and very encouraged to hear that we're going to be doing an after-action report and lessons learned. Every storm is different. You never know what the next one's going to bring, but we almost got a direct hit, and I don't know what that looks like. I hope we never find out, but it's something that we should probably be preparing for. So thank you.
Commissioner Oakley,
I just want, after everybody talks, things come to your mind that you just want to say, because the fact of it is, I am very proud to be on this board and have been on this board for quite a while. I am proud of us all working together. We're 3 counties, City of Tampa and City of Newport Richey, and we do work together on all issues that are for the betterment of all our citizens. So you got to be very proud of being able to work together and do those kind of things. We look possibly in the future of having a regional MPO board with the 3 counties, and we've already been having some 3-county sit-down meetings that have been very, very helpful in finding out what we need in our region and the Tampa Bay region. It helps a lot of people, and I'm very much proud to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Oakley. And I don't want to forget the city of St. Petersburg either, the other partner. But one of the things about this is that this was a real opportunity for individuals in all of the governments to work together across party lines, across geographic lines. Everybody is in the boat, literally in the boat together with an incident like this. And I know that in Hillsborough County, I think that our staff did an amazing job, but we have major issues that we have to look at now. We have a lot of places that flooded exactly as predicted, but we also have places that flooded that nobody predicted were ever going to flood. And that's going to take some time to unravel. And to Councilman Miranda's point and to everyone's points, we need to learn from this, and we need to take the lessons learned and turn them into action as relates to our building codes and the way in which we develop. And one of the observations that I had was that things that were built to hurricane standards post 1992, post Hurricane Andrew, when the codes all changed, fared a lot better than the structures that were older. So there's a lot of clues, I think, about what works and what doesn't work that we can learn from. And to close, there is a bright side, and that is that the reservoir, if not totally full, it's going to be totally full by the end of the week. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Probably a week or two. It's one of those careful what you wish for. We asked for a lot of rain in the summer, and boy, did we get it. But I did want to say, reflecting on the events, this came to mind when we were in Milton. This slogan that I developed: "You are us, and we are you," and that's what came to theme with the member governments. It's not them out there; it's not us here. We were all in it together. So that was so neat to see how we all pulled together.
Well, on that note, I think we will move on to item B2, which is the remote attendance policy.
Yes, so a couple months ago, I initiated this discussion about whether Tampa Bay Water was interested in having a remote attendance policy. As you know, presently, we don't have a built-in allowance for anyone to attend remotely. So that discussion and then one-on-ones I've had with most of you, I think what I heard loud and clear was that you really appreciate having the full board as much as possible here in person. You like what that provides, but most of you also wanted some allowance to be able to attend remotely under exceptional circumstances. So that's what the policy that's been drafted provides. It provides what I consider a very limited ability to attend remotely. That would be based on accepted things like government business, health issues, hurricanes. So I think, building off of what's happened recently, this would also, depending on the time and severity of a storm, give us some flexibility if members weren't able to make it here to have as much of a board present either in person or remotely to attend a board business. We will regardless always need an in-person quorum unless the governor waives that, which has only happened during COVID. And this would be a self-policed policy as well. So it'd be up to the individual board member to determine whether your situation qualifies for remote attendance. And if you believe it does, you would just contact staff so that they could set up the technology for you to do that. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
Just one.
Yes.
So I was just, I hadn't looked at it in a while, so I apologize. Good cause, I think, is important. So like health issues come up, emergency duties, government acts of God or anything else, but it does not include like vacations. So if you're on vacation, you're out there enjoying yourself, that, that you can't, and that's again, self-policing, right? You're not calling in for those reasons, and I think that's the point of this, to allow us to continue to do the business in a normal fashion with some of these good causes that you've identified.
Correct, right. Personal travel is at present not included in good cause.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Oakley, seconded by Commissioner Eggers. It doesn't, I think, have to be part of the policy, but I do think that if the chair is going to be remote, the vice chair ought to chair the meeting. And I don't know that we need to have anything official, but I would expect that the chair would be in the room. So with that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, excuse me, or record your vote.
That too.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
All right, we have a few action items this morning. Item C1 is the surface water treatment plant expansion, and Marimel Medina is here for that. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Agenda item C1 is an action item for the surface water treatment plant expansion project, and I will be asking for your approval of a contract amendment for final design services. As a reminder, the surface water treatment plant project was selected as the next water supply project for the region with a proposed completion date by the end of the year 2028. The main goal of this project is to increase the water supply capacity available to the region by 10 to 12.5 million gallons per day. We are delivering the project using the progressive design build delivery method through an amendment to the existing design build operate contract with Veolia Water North America Operating Services. At the May 2023 board meeting, the board approved Amendment 2023-15 for design services, which included the development of the alternatives evaluation, the basis of design report, the 30 and the 60% design documents. Additional design services are now required to complete the design, and staff has negotiated a scope and fee with Veolia to complete the 90 and the 100% design services. Staff request board approval of the negotiated agreement, Amendment 2024-16 with Veolia under Agreement 2000-028. And Mr. Chairman, I will be happy to address any questions you may have.
Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, just real quickly, these design costs that you have that we've already incurred and others that we're approving, are they in line with what we anticipated?
For design services, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please record your vote.
Councilman Miranda, we need your vote, please. Thank you. Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. And I believe you're staying at the podium to present item number C2, which is the South Hillsborough Pipeline.
Yes, agenda item C2 is an action item for the South Hillsborough Pipeline Project, and I will be requesting once again approval for the first amendment of contract 2023-027 with Garney Companies, Inc. The South Hillsborough Pipeline Project is the result of the Memorandum of Understanding approved in August 2020 between Hillsborough County and Tampa Bay Water. This map shows the board-approved selected route, and the pipeline will be 26 miles long with up to 60 inches in diameter, sized to deliver up to 65 million gallons per day to the fast-growing area in South Hillsborough. Segment A is being funded by Tampa Bay Water. Segment B is funded by Hillsborough County, and we are sharing up to $147.9 million that we will be receiving from the Southwest Florida Water Management District co-funding program. The pipeline is scheduled to be in service by late 2028. The design team have reached the 60% design, and to ensure that the materials are delivered on time and leverage the favorable steel market pricing, Garney has submitted the first Guarantee Maximum Price, or GMP, proposal for early procurement of steel pipe, large diameter valves, and air release valves. This proposal was developed to allow for flexibility with material quantities as the design progresses and is finalized. The original estimated value for this first GMP was over $83 million, and we were able to take advantage of the favorable steel market and lock in the pricing within the target or optimal buying zone, which has only briefly been observed 3 times since the pandemic. Materials were competitively bid, and 2 pipeline and 3 valve manufacturer bids were received. GMP number 1 is based on the lowest, most responsive bidder for each one of the materials. About $40 million is associated to segment A, and about $20 million is associated for segment B. And staff anticipates leveraging the owner's direct purchase program to directly purchase the materials and save the sale taxes associated with the materials themselves. And staff recommends the board to approve the negotiated first amendment of contract 2023-027 with Garney Companies for GMP number 1.
Commissioner Whistle?
How's the timeline moving along on this in association to the 2028 estimated completion?
We are right on target with the timeline. We are optimistic that we will be meeting the deadlines.
Not willing to change it to 27?
That's a good one. We can try. I will need more resources, though.
That's a good answer.
Sorry.
I'll move for approval then.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Please record your vote. Thank you very much. Okay, item number C3, Mr. Cardin.
Yes, item C3 is a request for board approval of the 1-year amendment to the EGIA contract for the administration of the WaterWise program. The WaterWise program is a conservation and demand management program, and it focuses on providing rebates to achieve water savings. The program is a collaborative effort amongst the 6 member governments and is overseen by a working group of member government staff. Tampa Bay Water is the program manager, and Electric and Gas Industries Association, or EGIA, is the program and rebate administrator. The overall goal of the program is to save 3.8 million gallons of water per day across the region, and that would help delay future capital projects. The program in total is 78 cents per 1,000 gallons, which is far cheaper than the cost to build a new supply. And at the board September meeting last month, the board requested that we go back and negotiate a one-year extension of EGIA's services. So a one-year extension will allow staff to work with the board members and the member governments to evaluate the program, to also rebid the package in 2025, and to work to solicit for additional bidders. EGIA agreed to a one-year extension of the contract, which includes budget for program growth and is within the amount included in the board-approved fiscal year 2025 budget. We will be back at a later board meeting to provide detailed information about the program's progress. And with that, staff recommends approval of the Third Amendment to the contract with EGIA.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by pushing the button.
Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Thank you very much. All right, we are going to move on to item D3, since D1 and D2 have been deferred, and that is the presentation by Mr. Warrenhog. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This morning, I would like to highlight the environmental conditions and regional demand from water year 2024 that's just concluded, and take a look ahead into what water year 25 may contain. This is our year-end wrap-up, so my presentation is slightly longer than what I would normally make, but I'm not requesting any board action at the end. I'll begin with rainfall, since this drives our demand for water, and it also dictates the amount of water that we can harvest from local rivers and our environmental conditions. Water year 2024, we received about 7.5 inches more rain than we expect, and our summer rains this year really didn't kick in on schedule. Normally, about early June, we start getting the regular rains. That really didn't happen on a consistent basis until late June or early July. The months of July through September all recorded well above average rainfall, including rain from Hurricanes Debbie and Helene. The high amount of rainfall that we received during those 3 months did sustain high flows in the Hillsborough and Alafaya rivers, and we were able to harvest that extra river water to store and refill the regional reservoir. I won't dwell on the rainfall from Hurricane Milton, except to report that our region received an average of 11.6 inches, and that ranged from a low of 8 inches to a high of 18.9, both in St. Petersburg and western Starkey Wellfield. So it was an extraordinary rain event. At least in the city of St. Petersburg, it was reported to be a 1 in 1,000 year rainfall event. Our summer rainfall has erased the drought conditions in our state, except for a very small area at the tip of the panhandle. And this condition is likely to continue for the coming months, as we received a lot of rainfall in the last 4 months. Our region did exit the water shortage stage 1 condition at the end of August. As I mentioned, the 12-month rainfall surplus increased to 7.5 inches, and the 12-month Hillsborough River flow surplus increased to 8.4 million gallons a day at the end of September. With the rain we received in October from Hurricane Milton, we expect to be out of any water shortage condition for many months to come. We do understand that the Water Management District is likely to rescind the 1-day-a-week outdoor irrigation order at tomorrow's governing board meeting. That will be up for discussion at their meeting tomorrow morning in Brooksville. Just one note on the flow in the local rivers from Hurricane Milton. On October the 11th, flow in the Hillsborough River at the Morris Bridge Gauge, which is a few miles upstream of the City of Tampa Dam, peaked at about 4 billion gallons a day. The Alafaya River at Lithia, that gauge is, again, several miles upstream from our intake at Bell Shoals Road, that peaked at 6.2 billion gallons of water per day. We did rely heavily on the regional reservoir during April, May, and June to sustain flow to our surface water plant. And that allowed us to remain in compliance with the consolidated permit pumping limit. We weren't able to start refilling the reservoir until following Hurricane Debbie with the rainfall that it gave us. And we consistently added about 200 million gallons a day to the reservoir until it was full. The graph in blue shows the beginning volume of each month, and the orange line is the projection where it was expected to be. So you can see the deficit throughout most of the year up until the month of September when we caught up to full. As we did end with essentially a full reservoir, which we will top off in the coming weeks and begin that for the next dry season. And what a difference 3 months can make. Photographs here show the reservoir from a low of 2.28 billion gallons a day on July 13th. That was our low point, to full before the end of September. We'll now have a full reservoir and also the desalination facility online to help us with the dry season of 2025. Looking ahead to fiscal year 25 that's just started, the U.S. Climate Prediction Center is forecasting a La Nina climate condition that normally brings warmer and drier conditions for the southeastern United States, including Florida, particularly in the winter months. The prediction this year is for a weak La Nina condition that should go back to neutral conditions later in the spring. In fiscal year 2024, we delivered an average of 199.05 million gallons a day, which is about 1.5% less than what we delivered to the members last year. Our delivery rate would have been much higher had it not been for the one-day-a-week watering restrictions and the enforcement by the member governments and the cooler and wetter conditions that we had over the winter months. During water year 24, we delivered an average of 59% groundwater and 41% surface water to the members. The desal facility was offline for the year for renovation, but as I mentioned, it will be available in the coming months for the dry season. In 2025, our budgeted delivery is 209.7 million gallons per day. And as we begin the year, we estimate that 57% of that will be made up from groundwater, 37% surface water, and 6% from our desalination facility. The blue bars show the average monthly production from the 10 well fields of the consolidated permit for the last 24 months. The orange line is our running average, which was at 87.05 million gallons a day at the end of September, which is below our permit limit of 90. So that was very good news. We managed our system this spring using water from the reservoir to keep surface water treatment plant high and keep the groundwater production lower to maintain compliance with the permit. And as we go forward into this year, making decisions on how to operate, we're looking forward for this year that just started and the next year to make sure we maintain the balance and stay in compliance. Using the forecast source allocation that I mentioned a few moments ago, we will remain below 90 MGD on this permit for the coming year. We will likely approach 90 million gallons a day in the months of February through May, but using the power of the regional interconnected system and full reservoir storage and desalination, we're confident that we will remain below our permit limit. I'll wrap up quickly with an update on South Hillsborough supply and demand. The demands in this service area rapidly increased in 2023, but we've seen that sharp increase now come back to what was expected. We deliver through 3 different points of connection shown by the 3 different colors on each bar. And the 12-month average demand in this service area is now 55.4 million gallons a day, which is about 2.7 million a day less than it was a year ago. The South Central Hillsborough well field 12-month running average pumping rate was 25.11 million gallons a day at the end of September, which is just over our permit limit of 24.95, but we've made good headway in the last year, coming back to our permit limit. Looking into water year 25, it looks like we will be back in compliance with our permit limit, but coming in the spring and summer months, we should remain pretty close to that permit limit as we continue to work with Hillsborough County on supply and infrastructure changes to work to maintain compliance with this permit as well. As has been discussed this morning, we've had a very challenging year. In many respects, we started with a drought. We ended with no drought at all. But together, we've weathered the storms, and we have a lot to look forward to or be grateful for. We've maintained compliance with our consolidated permit. We have a full reservoir, and we're looking much better at the South Central Hillsborough Regional Well Field. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Warren, thank you very much for your always informative and very thorough reports. Appreciate that. Just curious on the one slide that had water delivery compared 24 to fiscal year 23, just what do you attribute that 1.5% decrease to? Do you think that's conservation? Is it the 1 day a week watering? What do you think led to that?
That was a significant part of our decrease in supply. We had broad support from the members in the Water Management District in enforcement of restrictions. We together put out a plea to the public to please help us conserve and refill our reservoir. The public really listened and pitched in this year, so that's a powerful tool we have. I would say that's a predominant reason that we saw a decrease in water delivery this year.
Great, thank you very much.
Commissioner Oakley.
Warren, that was a great report. I wish every month we would have a report as good as that one. So I have heard no one say we were out of water lately in the last month. So that's a good sign. If we keep going that way, it'd be great. So the fact of it is I've spoken in a lot of different areas in my county, and people are amazed at the fact that we can move from the rivers and the canal. We can move 200 million gallons a day. And then you said it to me earlier before the meeting that it's pretty interesting. You can work our water system with putting in 200 million a day and taking out 200 million a day without affecting our well fields. And that's got to help our environment tremendously. So we just need to keep up having more and more water. And number one on my list is another reservoir, because I think we could have filled it here lately.
Think we can fill it, huh?
Yeah, we can fill it.
We will take a look at that and see if it's cost effective.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that, I think we are going to thank you, Warren, very much for an excellent report. Great way to end this part of the meeting. Ms. Fernandez, you have an item to take up with us, number E1.
Right, this is really just an informational item. I've spoken with staff about the handling of the general manager's evaluation process. And what we're going to do is have Michelle Stom send out the evaluations to each of you, and then please fill them out, return them back to Michelle, and she will share them with Mr. Cardin, and then Mr. Cardin can schedule one-on-ones with you as needed and desired.
Okay.
And those evaluations, I believe, will be probably going out today or tomorrow.
Commissioner Westall.
Are these, I wasn't here when the contracts were signed, so are these part of his contract agreement or?
So it is a requirement to have an evaluation, but it does not play into compensation or anything contractually related.
I don't believe in annual evaluations. I think it's not productive. I have a problem with you. I'll tell you the moment it happens. So, okay. Mine just might be NAs. I don't know. I'll look at it.
Well, and I will say there's no penalty. You're not obligated to have to return it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But we'll shame you if you don't.
Shame away.
I know you're not affected by that. But.
Is there any other business before we require a motion to receive and file?
Yes, one comment, please.
Yes.
I wanted to thank Councilmember Miranda for wearing that suit today. I tell you, it looks great, and it looks great on you, so.
I'm just an unpicked apple.
I'll add one thing there too. If you're not doing anything this weekend, it's the 100th anniversary of Newport Richie. And there's a bunch of activities going on. You can go on to 100npr.org, find out what's going on this weekend.
Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Can we?
I was there.
Can we have a motion to receive and file, please?
Second.
Okay. Okay, please record your vote.
Oh, Commissioner Scott, we need your vote, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be Monday, November 18th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. We will see you all here.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.